Hi, Allison Livingston, 5 Steps to Connect with Your Strong-Willed Child Weekly Wisdom. And I'm outside because it's a beautiful afternoon, and I want to talk about a really important one, which is setting limits, boundaries with your strong-willed child. And as all of you know, this is one of the hardest things, and I think I've mentioned it's also one of the most necessary things because our strong-willed children are yearning for more structure, more firmness, so they know where they stand. And I wanted to say 2 things before we get started. One is that it's crucial to give yourself a lot of self-care before you start this process. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to take off your serious glasses. So I sometimes approach this is very serious and we need to do it well, and I need to be the one in charge, and it's just the way it is. It's a serious matter. So let's just put those down. We're just trying our best. We have no idea exactly what we're doing, and growth mindset says that's okay. So just do the best you can, and that's enough. The second is that, going the right ways, these are my, you have to get it right. Sorry, I dropped something. And you have to be right. Getting it wrong is not an option. And this is also an important matter. So again, it's just freedom of we can't get this wrong. We are in relationship with our child, with our family. We cannot get it wrong. We are just living moment by moment, day by day, breath by breath, doing our best. And that's enough. So if that's a script that you go through, just give yourself a break and just come at this with sort of a playful attitude of we're trying something new. We're going to see how it goes. So the next thing is that I want you to go to the resources section. I'll have a link here as well. And we're going to go through the steps to set rules or agreements with your child. And they are ones that they'll actually follow, and they will make your life way better. And I can honestly say I've used these and have come to find out through a lot of research and through my own experience that things go much better when there's more clarity. I didn't do this until they were more like teenagers. I wished I had started sooner. I'm just going to say that again. I wished I had started sooner with more clarity in my own mind from a place of center, not in the moment when I'm frustrated and already flipped my lid, and that this works. So let's jump in. So the first thing is to get with your self, and then to get with your parenting partner. This could be a mom, a trusted friend, your spouse, and go through the top, maybe just start with 3 things of the patterns that really upset your family life. And what are the things that if you could solve to, you'd have so much more ease and so much less conflict in your house. So start with those. You can always add more if you find that you need them, but it'll help get the process started. And I'm going to use an example of lying at the end. So start with that. One other important point is that you do one of these for each child, and it's best if you can have the conversation one-on-one. If you want to have some that you're going to speak with each child about, that's great. You can have some universal ones, but each child is unique, personality-wise, age-wise, female, style, male, and they really do well when you speak with them uniquely about their unique set of patterns. The other is, so then after you get clarity, then you work with your child. And again, you do this when they are as centered and as open-minded as possible. And you say, I really have been frustrated with this couple of dynamics we have, and I would love it to go better. Wouldn't you? So I learned this new thing and I want to try it. I don't know if it's going to work, but if it does, it could really create a lot more harmony and less conflict in our lives. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, thanks. I want to show you something and I just want to review it. And I just want to let you know I'm so open to your feedback. And I really want this to work for both of us. You matter to me, and I want to understand you better. And I want this to work for all of us. Sound good? So then the other key thing is write it down. This is the most important step. Write them down. If they're younger children, draw pictures. Try not to have too many, as I said, it can overwhelm. And the written word means that I have to speak less and I can just point to them. One of the founding uh, principles that why this works is that it gives them choice. It gives them agency, power in their world. And they know if they do this, this is going to happen. So they have a choice about doing that or not. So this choice helps them not feel trapped, powerless, and that someone is having control over them. So that's a key part. The other key part is, for me, fewer words. So when I can point to the written thing, then that's when we're going to number 4, which is really where the moment of everything is. It's where I've stumbled before, because I start to talk to them. I try to be rational. I try to explain, but their lid is flipped and they're not hearing anything. They're just raging at me and angry and caring about something, but they can't understand it and I can't understand it. And we're just lost, because then I get triggered and we're off to the races. So the key thing is, when your child steps over the line, breaks a rule, crosses a limit, then you just gently and with as much equanimity as possible just say, hey, this was our agreement and this is what's going to happen now. So the best way to do it is if it can be sort of an immediate consequence. An example that I listed here is if where is it? If they lies about hitting their sister, lies about anything, then they get to spend the next 30 minutes, whatever the time frame is that you decide, 10 minutes, in their sort of art self-care corner. And they can spend the next period of time being there, and that is their consequence, their agreement. And the idea is that they are going to help calm themselves down. The reality is that they are probably going to sit there and rage. My daughter said that she would write I hate you letters with a lot of swear words to us, and that was her process for venting all of this emotional energy. Another way you can do it is somehow to get them to move. It could be punching a soft thing. It could be, again, best is if they come up with it. I'll direct you back to the self-care maps that if they can do on their own, then they're not having someone tell them what to do. So get them to move to music, to stomp on a mouse pad, use a damn it doll to whack, 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 whack the stuffing out, some way to be able to express their rage. They are caring about something so deeply, and they are probably feeling frustrated, trapped, frustrated at themselves, maybe embarrassed, maybe ashamed, a whole potpourri of really hard to feel emotions. And again, this is a great thing that they're able to express, let them out, let some of that pressure cooker out of themselves. And that's a gift. I would try to talk to my daughter, it wouldn't work at all in this moment. Her process was, she said that she needed to feel the rage, then she would feel sadness, then she would feel lonely, and then she would want me to come in and talk with her. And that's when she's able to look inward instead of outward. She first would look outward as, I'm the problem, my fault, blame, blame, blame. And only after she went through this process was she able to be open to hearing what her part in it is, which is really the end goal that we'll work more on in other sessions. But what is their part? Because they just want to blame the world and the lightning rod and the stimulus, which is usually us or their sibling. And the key is for them to be able to turn inward and say, what is my part in this? And that was an amazing moment when that happened with my daughter. And it's really served her well. So let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I think I've said most of it. Just the big thing is Say with them, if they want you to be there while they rage, just make sure they're not hitting, they're being safe, safety first. Also for siblings, few words as possible, point to the agreement, try not to tell them because then they feel like they're getting told what to do. If you can reflect what you're seeing in their body and it's not enraging them further, that can sometimes help. Oh, you're really angry. Yeah, this sucks. I know. Yeah, and it won't last forever. And you matter to me, and we're going to get through this. And oh, anger at the ground or the sky, not at anyone. Um, so if that sort of reflecting or their raging gets a little out of control, then I would give myself a timeout and take her sister with me if I had to. So that's another pro tip. And then you can evaluate them over time. That's another key point. So I just want to help you not feel like a victim and not feel powerless and not enmesh with your strong-willed child. So if any of this part of this process you get triggered, just try to notice it and give yourself this is hard. This is so hard. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy the first time you do it. And that's okay. That's okay. We're just experimenting. And this is a tool that has really made a difference in our family. My story is that my daughter was lying, and she was covering it up because she was embarrassed, she was ashamed, and it had to stop because honesty and integrity is my top value. And you don't really have anything if you can't count on what they're saying to you. And so this was a hard lesson, and she was at the age where we took away her screen for a day. It depends on the amount of offense, but taking away their screens for a certain amount of time, even if they can't do schoolwork, it's okay. You need to get their attention, and this is one surefire way that worked for us. And so she knew that if she lied, she would get her phone taken away. I think it was an iPod at that point, and she hated it, and it would send her into orbit, and she would yell, and she would hit, and she would just get furious, and it was so, my stomach would clench and my jaw would clench, and it was awful. So I just want to give you all compassion because this is hard. It's excruciating. And we got through it. And she knew that I was strong enough and caring enough to hold limits for her. And it made such a difference. And she was able to grow through it. And she was able to see what her partner is. And it was just magic as we got farther along on that process. So play with it, try it. I hope you will. I hope you bring your questions on Thursday. And if there's any questions in the meantime, please feel free to put them either a direct message to me or just in the group, because we're all learning together and we can benefit from each other. I would love to hear support for when your child gets really, really, really angry, what works for your family. So thanks and have a great week.